Understanding children's literature, I feel, is very close to also understanding how we understand childhood and how understanding of childhood has evolved over many, many years now. Over the last 200, 300 years, how do we understand our children? Who are these people? Who are these little bodies who are born? And how we think about children has changed and evolved over many, many years because of contemporary and different kind of events that have happened. Can you just translate what I said? If anybody wants translation, or should I? Okay, la? Okay. So, Ivaga, if you look at what people consider widely as contemporary children's literature or as contemporary, is everything that has happened beyond, say, World War II. So that itself is about, 80, 90 years old now. There are certain things in the way, there is two different ways in which we think about childhood. Earlier, in the 17th up to about 18th century, children were thought about as little adults. Those beings who have not yet become adults. So there was no distinct phase as childhood as we know it today. So they were involved in everything. They were involved in all the activities that adults were involved in, including labor, So you would have seen, during industrialization, you would have seen old pictures of 7-year-old children working in mines. And Vasu sir is here. He knows the struggle of child rights, how much amount of work has gone into taking children out of there. So I think in understanding children's literature also has to come through the understanding of childhood and how this concept of childhood has turned. So post-World War, after having seen all the destruction that the wars caused, especially to women and children, human rights became very important, child rights became very important, and multiple things about how we approach children has evolved. And I've seen that children's literature has had its own parallel journey through it. As we see it today, one was the World War, but other things happened. Industrialization happened, where many children were also put under risk of corporatization and labor and other kinds of risk. And most importantly, the concept of nuclear families started to evolve. From large joint families where children were, just growing up. Namgella gottu adu. Children will just grow up in large families, but it became more nuclear focused. Just 2 or 3 or 4 people in a family. Now, how you have to look at this unit of a child in a small, contained family also started to change. So, what remains now, the triad, I believe, is a triad. 3 corners of a triangle when we talk about children and how we as adults, whether it is children's literature or arts, interact with children, is in protection, which we all believe. All children have to be protected. Is in education and information. All children have the right to be, informed, educated. How that information is disseminated, how that education goes, of course, all of us have been talking about how gently we are supposed to talk about wars right now to children. We will all talk about war, destruction, death. Today's books list itself has many of these themes. It's important that we talk to children about it. It's not that we are here to save their innocence. Yes, that is important. But it is also important to introduce them and inform them it's their right. And third most important part of the triad is the right for them to participate in their own learning journey. So I think this triad, the contemporary ways, not only literature, but ways of engaging with children has to be seen through this triad. In response to one minute I will take.
Yes, continue.
I think when I think about, reflect about reading journeys, we were also earlier talking to another teacher saying, I'm so happy that new kinds of literature is coming out, and we are hoping that it will reach the readers. But from here starts another journey. The engagement is one of the most critical aspects of, this is one half of the journey reached. One book barodu is half of the journey. Of course, for the writers, translators, the work ends here, but a new form, new group of people start from here. So I used to work in I started a small project where I used to work with children who are children of waste pickers in different communities in Bangalore and in Karnataka. So, and I used to run a library project there. Everybody thought it was a failed endeavor because how do you run in a library where all children are dropouts? Nobody goes to school, nobody knows to read. So, but we tried. We tried a small experiment almost 10 years ago, and it's still running and growing and flourishing. But that happened because of a few reasons. One, many such books were there. We are trying to get as many colorful, illustrated books as possible, because the first journey to reading, even if you are a 50-year-old adult, is through picture books, I feel. It's great as a tool. Because even if you can't read the text, you can read the pictures. We are all being introduced to reading visually. So all children start by reading visually. So if this book, I'm giving it to 5 different children who don't read, I get 5 different stories. And they're all proud. If you really start encouraging, inna story kodi, each person will give me a different story. And we would celebrate that. We're not celebrating what they're reading in text, but we are celebrating that they are making their first attempts to reading, even as a 10, 15-year-old, So I think, one more small story I will tell you. I think someone else mentioned here, which was another thing into entry into the power of children's books for people who are entering into reading and enjoying reading, even as adults. So though nobody read in Tamil in the library, we kept Tamil books because we knew that community has, speaks in Tamil, and once in a while we used to have a storyteller who used to come and read books in Tamil. But we started to see very quickly that the books which used to get borrowed were all Tamil books. The parents never came. They were too ashamed or very shy to come and take picture books. But they would ask their children to borrow books for them. So that they, who have only gone to 3rd standard, 4th standard, and know very basic language skills, are able to read to their children. So yeah, I mean, there is, I think, multitudes of ways in which one can engage as a child and as an adult with children's literature like this.
Thank you.